Hi, it's me, the anti-black Barbie, the all-watchful eye of anti-blackness. Come on in, the show will be starting soon. Oh, we've got some people in here already. Let me see who we have in here. We've got Ellie Mac 7747. Hey, how are you, Ellie? Lenny Sativo says, OMG, I'm here. Y'all, why is this happening? Oh my gosh, I charged this too. Y'all, please don't let me. Okay, sorry. Give me 1 minute, y'all, because I literally charged my microphone before I even got on here, and I'm like blown away that it just died. Give me 1 second. Lord, okay. I cannot believe that. Okay, I have a backup mic, but like I'm terrified because like that other one just died. I am so sorry, y'all. I was literally on a roll and then it just died. I cannot believe that just happened. I think I put the microphone in the wrong charger in the wrong way and it didn't charge properly. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Give me 1 minute while I like get my life together. Okay, I am so sorry about that. I think this one should be fine. I guess I put it in the wrong way. Let me just double check that everything is fine now. Okay, alrighty. So we're gonna pretend like that didn't happen. So I'm gonna start over. I apologize if I'm repeating everything that I was just saying prior to this, but the reason why I find the Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande and Alphaba and Glinda. Lord, I'm all over the place. Like my mind is all over the place. But so yeah, I really like the fact that there are so many parallels between the characters that they play and the people that they are in real life. Because kind of like I was saying, if you aren't familiar with the story of Wicked, it essentially revolves around two women who are both witches, but because one person is green, they are perceived differently. And I think that while we understand that Alphaba being green is fictional, I think that it's very reflective of what I think the stark contrast between being a white person and a black person in America is. And I think that that's what is just so fascinating. And I think there's this idea that we've moved on from the idea that we are all kind of being perceived the same. And I think that just this whole debacle around Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande really highlights that the both of them are going to be viewed astronomically differently. So the reason why I bring all of this up is it's been a little while since Wicked has finished or commenced. I'm sorry, I'm still all over the place because I keep worrying that my mic is about to die. I gotta breathe now. Let me just breathe in, breathe out. That just threw me for a loop, and now I have like anxiety. That's the one thing about streaming, you all, that just like kills me, because like there's always that one little thing that you just can't see coming, and then I lose complete track of my mind. But the reason why I'm kind of talking about all of this is Cynthia has come forward and she's now kind of talking about her experience, like really just seeing all of the comments and backlash and all of like the negative racially like charged comments that were made towards her. And so she did like this interview with Vanity Fair. Now let me make sure that you all can see this. One sec. Yeah, I need to really calm down because like now I'm like beyond embarrassed. And I need to relax. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and start reading off like a part of the article that really just kind of like captured my attention. So let's see, because there's so many things that like really just kind of like validated what I was saying in those two videos if you hadn't watched them, just around like how differently they were being perceived. And like I was kind of like under the impression that she was seeing the comments as well, but it is just kind of like really interesting to see that, of course, these celebrities are not, that far removed from reality, and they see everything that we more or less see. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading this off. It says, it's very interesting watching what people's perception is versus what the reality actually is, she says, a note of sarcasm creeping into her voice. Lots of psychologists seated at home deciding who we were and what we were going through. One part that really stood out to me was where she said, I think that people didn't really believe that we were actually friends, Erivo says, but that's because people don't know me very well. If I'm a friend, then I'm a friend. If I'm not, then I'm not, she says. And the two still text almost every day. And that's what I think this specific aspect was really, really fascinating to me because kind of like I was saying, like even within the context of Wicked, a lot of people did not believe that that Glinda and Elphaba had like a real connection, and it's just really interesting to see like how much societal pressures, not only in the show or not in the show in the movie that was happening, just kind of like relate back to life. And it almost just reminds me of that saying, like, art imitates life to some extent, because there's so many different parallels, kind of like I was saying, like, I mean, both of them were witches, but again, just because someone had a different skin tone, they were perceived differently. And so I think when she was saying that, that was just really, really fascinating to me, because that was a critique that was happening in the movie as well. They didn't understand why these two actually were hanging out. And sometimes I think even in the context of like America, or not just America, just reality, sometimes like when there is a white person who has a friend that may be Black, sometimes a lot of people don't necessarily understand it, and that societal pressures and things of that nature really can put a strain on someone's relationship. So it just was really, really, this was like another just fascinating detail that she, herself was saying that, people didn't really think that, we liked each other. And it's like, you wouldn't ordinarily like question this. Like, why would you question this? But I think because they look so different, there is just this like idea that, they have nothing in common. And that's, again, just how a lot of just like racialized, patterns work. Let me read some of the comments off. Let's see. GC says, I feel like their friendship is fake. Otherwise, Ariana would have defended Cynthia. That's a point that I was going to definitely go with. Thank you, GC. You're always on point. I don't know if I did say hi to you earlier. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Let me see. Lenny. I think I read Lenny's comments. Thank you for, being so nice, Lenny. I was all over the place when my mic died. Catwin. Hi, Catwin. How are you? Oh, we have Amp Gorky. Hey. Hi, Amp. It's good to see you in here as well. GC96 says, a friend that never defends you in public is a bad friend. I'm telling you, GC, you are spitting facts right now, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to chew into Ariana because she played. It just like reminds me of that meme where it's like that girl's like knocking on the door, and she's and she's like, they didn't know that she was about to play in her face. But Julian says, how much did I miss? You didn't really miss much. My mic died at the beginning when I was explaining, so I just kind of had to like repeat myself. And honestly, I'm just kind of like worried that I missed a lot of what I was originally saying, but let's hope that you all got the gist of what I was needing. Let's see. The MD Turf says, yay, finally made it to a live. Yes, I recognize you in the comments and on Twitter. Don't we follow each other? I think we do follow each other. So it's good to see you in here. A few more comments and then I'll get back to it. Milkcat Dog 333 says, honestly, this is Trump's America at play, just a bunch of ignorant racism. I agree. I mean, I think as well, it also, that's a great point now that you mention it. A part of me wonders how much differently this discourse would have went if we weren't in such a racialized and like racist environment. Like it was already bad prior, I mean, obviously, but like now, I mean, it's just open season. So I think that is a really, really great point, and I just kind of wonder how much differently all of this would have went down. I don't think it would have been exacerbated to this degree, but I do think that there still would have been an issue. So let me keep reading. She doesn't like address it all the way, but let's see. Let me keep going. So this article, I mean, the next part, it says, it was perhaps inevitable that the obsessive internet in Erivo and Grande would turn into something darker. Maybe it's because the audiences really were confusing Erivo with Alphaba, who is scapegoated and banished from society in films. Maybe it's because by the time 2025 rolled around, both Wicked and its leading ladies felt, well, a little overexposed, considering they started promoting the film a full 9 months earlier when Erivo and Grande presented together in the 2024 Oscars. Or maybe it's just because the internet loves backlash, especially when it involves cutting a woman down to size. I'll address that in a minute. She says, she keeps going. Let me see it, because I read this earlier. So she kind of starts to talk about this. It says, okay, so this next passage says, once again, there was a global, well, actually, they have like so much fluff in here, and I'm like, I'm not really trying to read all this. Let's see. So there's this one part that I specifically wanted to read. Grande was grounded due to an aircraft issue why is there like so much fluff? Okay, so here it is. Grande, who had been diagnosed with PTSD after a suicide bomber killed 22 people at her 2017 concert in Manchester, England. So I think, I just kind of want to just like put this this point in here too, that I think it only like adds to the infantilization of Ariana Grande. Like, I think that, she went through something so traumatic, and like her fans now just like have this really, really like distorted view of her as a person. And when she's in juxtaposition to someone like Cynthia Erivo, a lot of their racist tendencies just naturally just come into play. A lot of them think like that, she couldn't possibly want to be friends with, Cynthia, or maybe that Cynthia has like a hold over Ariana. I just remember seeing like a lot of people saying as well that they were blaming they were blaming Cynthia for like Ariana Grande's like physical appearance, like, changing. And so there were just so many things about, like, I think it was like the perfect storm, because I do think that in some ways people were viewing what was her name, they were viewing there's so many different names and I'm like getting all over the place. They were viewing Cynthia as Alphaba in juxtaposition to like all of the things that they like and feelings they have that already came with Ariana as well. So it's like, there's just so many different things that I think that were just in parallels that I just thought were interesting, that were just colliding at once, that I felt like really contributed to why this like was blown out of proportion. I want to read off some more. Powerpuff Girl. Hey, Powerpuff Girl. How are you? It's good to see you. Let's see. And yes, I don't know if I said hi to you, Julian, but yes, it's good to see you, Julian. I was looking at one of your live streams the other day. Definitely follow Julian. Julian says, I wouldn't be surprised to. It's always the optics with most of these celebrities. Let me see. Trying to read the comments 1 second. The victimization of Grande is very appealing to her fans who also want that tragic mystique, I guess. I agree with you. I think that they have really just infantilized her in ways that it's just really just not normal. And, I'm not going to lie to you all. I used to be an Ariana Grande stan. I went to one of her concerts with this boy on Valentine's Day, and it was great. I loved every bit of it. But like now, looking back on it, in hindsight, I'm like, I still like her, but I think, sometimes I kind of question, I don't even know where I was going with that. I will just say this. More recently, she has started to irk me. Like, I'm like, I don't remember her being really just like annoying and just like childlike all the time. Like, she was kind of like diva-ish, but I just don't remember her just like always being like damsel in distress. And that's just kind of what she gives all the time. Like, it looks like she's about to break at every single moment. And, I'm not here to judge, but I just do find like sometimes like not even necessarily her behavior, but the infantilization of her behavior to be really irritating. And it's just not something that you really see like ever be extended to somebody who is Black. So that's why I'm a little bit more resistant to just like people coddling her, because I'm like, I know it wouldn't happen in reverse. Let's see, child, the way they were saying that she was draining Ariana's life force was such a reach. It's like honestly strange to think that like it was a real talking point. I want to go ahead and like actually share with you all like some tweets that I had saved that just really like captured my attention, because I just kind of want to just like bring attention to it. There's like so many just really, really like strange tweets too. Like this one, I have to, it's ingrained in the back of my mind. Let me show you all. This one is ingrained in the back of my mind. Oh wait, oh, I don't want copyright. Let me mute this. So first off, let me read the caption. It says, wait, let me zoom in so y'all can see it better. So caption says, Cynthia Erivo is terrible optics for Black women, to be honest. Casting a bald and conventionally unattractive Black woman next to a dolled up and femmed white non-Black is a choice. Now that, actually didn't remember this originally, but that is a horrible thing to say. The real thing that I was actually going to read off was this. It says, Ariana Grande and the bald Black chick from Wicked that follows her everywhere. And it's like, this is what I'm saying, like, it's so dehumanizing. And it's like, I mean, but this is how they view this relationship. I mean, it's just like, and I mean, honestly, it's kind of bizarre because it's like Cynthia just really did nothing but like be nice to Ariana. Like they're both stuck on the tour. Like it's not like, I mean, they have really like any other choice but to be with each other. So I don't understand it. Well, I guess I do understand it. Like, but it's just very, very sad to see like the way that they actually view this relationship. And, you know, I think that's a big part of why I was saying originally in my video that I was making that I'm a really big, I'm really, really keen on optics, because it's just like, you know, I think that we have this idea that like, you know, if we just try to be the nicest version of ourselves and, you know, we just try to be good to everybody, that, you know, people are going to see us for the people that we are. And unfortunately, because things like racism exist, that is just not possible. And I'm not saying like, I don't think that Cynthia should have been like nice to Ariana, but I think that overextending herself, especially on camera, was just like not great optics. And like you do have to be a little bit more like conscious, not only just like, well, just more so just to protect yourself. It's like, in my opinion, like a defense mechanism that I think most people should have, or like a form of like media literacy, because I think once you start like, you know, being like overextending yourself or doing things of the nature that Cynthia was doing, I think that sometimes a lot of non-Black people just naturally are going to assume that like you are that kind of Black person, you know, the one that just like needs the validation, the one that is there to serve, you know, because there are a lot of Black people who are happy with being the token Black. And, you know, so I think that sometimes that is what happens is like, you know, most white people are typically only really interested as if you are the token Black, in my opinion. Otherwise, they typically are just like not going to be interested. I want to show off some other tweets too, but let me make sure I don't get it in trouble, because Twitter is not a safe place to scroll. So you have to turn your screen off to avoid anything raggedy happening. And I want to say one thing too. I'm not saying that I really think there was anything that like Cynthia could have done to avoid this, because maybe they still would have just been racist and horrible to her. But I think from a general standpoint, like playing into the protector role and things like that, like I definitely feel like opens the door for a lot of non-Black people to like overstep their boundaries. For example, I kind of want to just share off this like little moment that happened that I just thought was like really repulsive to me. let's see. And this is like the kind of stuff that she was just dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not even going to sit here and say that I'm a Cynthia Erivo stan, because there's a lot of stuff that she's done that irritates the hell out of me. But like, ultimately, I think Cynthia still would have been perceived the same regardless of like all of the things that she's doing. So I just feel like it's important to still analyze, this situation, because it could be anybody, really.
Last question. When did you know you were tough? You're tough.
Am I?
I think so.
I mean, I think I'm strong.
Tough and strong?
I think I'm strong. I think I'm vulnerable. I think I'm a myriad of different things.
Like a protector, too? You're tough. You're tough. You are a tough person. You're strong.
Well, I think I'm strong.
Like,
I think I also can be protected, too. Awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we can be both. I think it's okay for us to be both strong, protected, and protective. That's okay.
You're great.
Like, did y'all just see that? Now that is just, I mean, Lord Almighty, that is a hot mess. Like, I mean, just overstepping boundaries. And it's just like, I think, if you're not familiar with what happened, or if you haven't like seen what happened, let me actually back out so you all can get like a little bit more context around like why he's saying this. Because if you didn't get to see my Cynthia Erivo video, basically what ended up happening is Cynthia Erivo Ariana Grande was like bum rushed by like a deranged fan, and essentially what ends up happening is Cynthia tries to step in to help, and more or less, I don't have the video. Let me see. Let me look it up. Okay, actually, I don't know if I'm going to look the video up, but I saw another very disturbing thing that was saved, and I kind of want to share it with you all. So, oh God, what the hell? So this is the moment where Cynthia Erivo kind of steps in to try and help Ariana Grande from the deranged fan that kind of like bum rushed her at the Wicked event, and it's like just become like this really, really disgusting like meme. They're like masculinizing Cynthia, like they're like holding the frame like where she looks like really, really muscular. They're making like little jokes out of it, and it's just like, I mean, they're trying to paint her out to be like somebody who's just like really, really masculine, when in reality, I mean, she just really just tried to step in to help her friend. And it's like, I mean, the way they take this stuff so far, and I mean, you got black men, I mean, just actively contributing to this foolishness, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. And it's just so inappropriate. But like, this is the kind of stuff like that she was dealing with, and that was being posted about her, and it just is like very wild to think about. Let me see. I'm gonna read the some of the comments. So 88 Empress says it's a catch-22. Because if Cynthia was neutral and didn't do the most, they would be saying she is evil and jealous. I agree with you. They still would have found a way to have an issue with her. Nicholas Valentine says, crazy yet sad that some black people are okay with being a token. It's very sad. I know so many people who would love to be the token, like just to have proximity to Ariana. So it's like, it's unfortunate. And let's see. Blay J_24 says, I've seen people say they prefer the actors from Heated Rivalry than Ariana and Cynthia's friendship. Oh wow, that's horrible. The MD Terp said it's giving like Cynthia's Ariana's damn mammy or something. I agree. And I'm going to keep it real with you. We are going to have to, I'm really, really big on accountability. And, like I said, I'm not going to blame Cynthia, but I do want to, I wish I had like some of the clips of like some of the stuff that she was doing. Cause I'm like, Cynthia, girl, I need you to kind of chill out a little bit. Like, she kind of was doing the most. And you know what, y'all, I'm sorry, y'all are more than likely gonna have to watch my first Cynthia Erivo video. I don't have all the clips, and I can't go through them all at once. Let's see, let me just keep reading. Child, there's so many comments. Thank you all for commenting. Like, there's a lot of people in here. Let's see. Let me just keep reading. Viera Violta says, this is an awkward interview question. Very, very awkward. I mean, very racist, in my opinion. And 88 Empress says he was pushing it. I was heated. Yeah, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is disgusting. Nicolas says, I'm upset that Cynthia gets dehumanized and masculinized by the public. I agree. It's very, very unfortunate. Especially when her and Ariana are like very similar in personality. Like, it's just very strange to see like how differently they're perceived. Julian says she saw the microaggressions too. I would have ended the discussion. Yeah, she was just trying her hardest to get through it, and like, but it was just very uncomfortable. You could tell. Milk Cat Dog says, does anyone remember when Cynthia was at a round table with other actresses and she mentions that she sees colors and sounds, and then Jennifer Lawrence mocks her a little, and people loved her for it? I did not see that. Julian says, and of course there's a black man at the scene of the crime. I agree. I'm like, he should be ashamed of himself. But, you know, I know what he is. That's a coon if I've ever seen one. Christopher, hi, it's good to see you in here, Christopher. Christopher says, did he think she was Dora Milaje? Like, sir, please, daddy, chill. You know, I question what's going on. Carolyn Dante says, since COVID, people's parasocial relationship to celebrities has become insane, and online comments have become more evil, especially towards black celebrities. I agree. And, you know, I think that also, like, there's a lack of regulation with social media, especially, like, under the Trump administration now, especially, like, on Twitter. Like, it's, like, a free-for-all. Like, if you can literally call someone the N-word and, like, it get reported and nothing happened. So it's like people are emboldened because like there's no real consequences. So I definitely agree with that. Let's see. Let me keep reading a few more and then we're gonna keep moving on. Hopefully Cynthia learns from this and keeps a distance from these white people, but she is a black British person. You know, I definitely agree. I think that, in my opinion, she should learn from this. Like someone said a little bit earlier, I think it was GC said it a little bit earlier, is that not a single person came to Cynthia's defense, and clearly she was aware of everything that was happening in the moment. And nothing is going to convince me that like she wasn't having these conversations with Ariana and like the rest of her cast. So like the fact that none of them came out and said anything, I do feel like is very problematic to me. And like I definitely question, I'm like, why have none of them come forward and said anything? And, you know, I think especially, you know, when you see just the comments and the videos, there are so many that were just like going viral with like 3 to 4 million views. And it's just like, this is wild to me. Like, I don't understand it personally. And like after that, you know, I think more so in particular with Ariana, it's weird for me because like she has no problem coming online defending herself and like saying things at times, you know, more so about like people commenting on her body and X, Y, and Z. And it's just like, I feel like if anything, she should have taken lead and like really like tried to protect Cynthia because she obviously like, you know, has a lot more influence over her fans and just like the general like collective. But you know, she just like didn't say anything, and I'm like, this is just very bizarre to me. And I question how Cynthia is able to still be friends with this person at times. Or, you know, I'm not texting you every single day. You can't come online and put down like one little comment about people like, you know, being racist. Then yeah, me and you we're not gonna be very compatible. Let me see. We're going to do a few more, and then I want to go on to one of the next topics. We're going to move on to Byron Perkins and the JD debacle pretty shortly. Let's see. 88 Empress says, perhaps the dynamics in the UK is different than the US, but the overextension Cynthia did is too much for me. She definitely overextended herself. Nobody's going to be able to convince me that if some deranged like person, you know, charged to Cynthia that she would have decided to try to get in between her and that person. I don't believe it. And based off Ariana not even like caring enough to say anything. I'm like, I can't with it. Kyle Hollerman says the whole Wicked media tour was crazy. Both of them looked like they were feeding off each other's energy. They look so skinny and sickly in each interview. I'm telling you, it was scary. Like, I don't know what was going on in that press tour, but it was so demonic. Like, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, seriously, very bizarre. Let's see. GC says, yep, that white gay man, Jonathan Bailey, didn't say shit. Yeah, he didn't say anything. Kevon says, I hate how people are clowning Cynthia for protecting her friend. I agree with you. I think it's sad that she is getting clowned for that. Let's see. Kevon also says Ariana did not defend Cynthia when people were coming for her, which is not shocking. I agree. It's not shocking at all. Shane says, hi, everyone. Hi, Shane. It's good to see you in here. How are you? I hope you are enjoying your night. Nicola says Ariana is being an L friend for not sticking by her friend Cynthia and not defending her. She is. I'm like, I'm sorry, but if somebody can jump in between me and a deranged person, you better believe I'm coming online and I'm going to say like at least 1 to 2 sentences. Like, I'm sorry, but I think that it makes me question why she didn't say it. I think that maybe she knew that like her fans may not have reacted positively to her doing that, and a lot of them really will put the white community above like a black person's like safety and feeling. So I'm not surprised by that. Let's see. Redux says, look at how Haley's co-star that played human Ursula blocked races that were pitting them against each other. That's a true ally. Yeah, definitely. Like, there should be some kind of like action. Carolyn Dante says, yeah, she seems sweet, but her cast sucks. I agree. Shane says, wait, Wicked stuff is still happening? I thought people were free from that nonsense. Yeah, basically Cynthia kind of like came forward and she basically did an interview with Vanity Fair, and like they had a lot of questions about like her time at Wicked, and it just like got a lot of traction. So people were just kind of talking about it recently. So that's like why it's like being brought up again. We're finally kind of getting to hear Cynthia's side of the story. So yeah. Let's see. ATL Artlow says the whole Wicked press tour definitely made me look at Ari differently. Very weird. I agree. I'm like, girl, I liked her before, but after this I was like, okay, like I didn't care for it. Okay, let me read one or two more and then I'll get back on topic. People keep saying they are friends, yet Ariana let her face racially attack Cynthia. This was one-sided. I agree. It seemed like a very one-sided friendship. Let's see. Love and Lilac says, you do think that getting matching tattoos would mean you defriend your black friend from racism? You would think so, but you know what? That's why I say none of that. Having black friends, having black, relationships, all of that really means nothing. Like, I'm more so interested in the character of the person and like how they show up in these situations, because a lot of the times they really don't care, or they don't like show up when they need to, and I don't take it seriously anymore. Let me show off one more thing and then we're gonna move on to Byron Perkins and his lovely Santa Claus of a boyfriend, JD, or ex-boyfriend, I should say. Child, and then I done lost my tabs. Y'all, I done lost my tabs. Oh, here it is. Okay. You got to be careful on Twitter because it gets very raggedy and I do not want to get in trouble. All right, give me 1 second. Oh, then I did that. So this is like, so when they were asking her, I think they asked her to sing, or I don't know, let me just play the clip, because this clip stood out in my mind, but then I forgot what it was.
No.
No.
No. No.
No.
No.
So if you need more context, they asked her to do a Defying Gravity rift. I think if anybody who knows Cynthia like knows that she really, really loves Wicked. Like she would always try to sing on the spot. She loves to sing and perform for people, but it was just like I think this little reaction was so telling. Like she was so over the whole situation, and this is what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't overextend myself, because even if you like are still trying to be a good friend for your white friend, I mean, there's a level of torment sometimes, and just like like animosity that you have to deal with as a result of it. It's not worth it to me. I'm like, she don't even want to come online and sing Defying Gravity because she just so like turned off by the situation. And I'm like, this is why for me, I'm like, I wouldn't, I'm like, I don't overextend myself for them anymore. I don't do anything, because I know 9 times out of 10 I'm not going to get anything out of it. And they're not going to return the favor. And it's just like, yeah, that's not for me. So yeah, I think that's like the general consensus. Like I said, I think that the parallels between Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande and Alphaba and what was her name and Glinda are just like, I mean, so uncanny. And like, I mean, I think that the story of two people of different races really actually kind of like translates very well through the movie in its own right. And I just think that there's so much irony in how all of it played out, because I do believe that, I don't know if, they really do talk every day, but I wouldn't be surprised if this situation put a rift in their relationship. I know as more time goes by, I would be irritated with it, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cynthia starts to distance herself, because it's just like, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. Glinda in the movie as well didn't step up and really protect her friend either. Like she was just kind of like, oh, like like, yeah, I'm gonna let you handle it. And it's like, yeah, like it's just interesting to see like the parallels between these situations. And I just think that it's just, I kind of wanted to come online and give you all an update, because it was interesting to hear her kind of validate everything that we were talking about, and to hear that she was seeing everything that was kind of being said online and that nobody came forward. I think like that's the one thing that you can learn the most from it, is that they were aware of the discourse and nobody said anything. Let me read some more, and then we're moving on to Byron Perkins. So, oh, your Lord, y'all already talked about JD. Let me read some of the Cynthia comments, and then I'll go back to the JD comments. Cynthia does not want to be pigeonholed. Ariana is already doing other projects and is not even referred to as Glinda anymore. I agree. She's not trying to be pigeonholed. I definitely think she needs to just really kind of refrain from going into that anymore. Christopher says, love her down, but I still don't want her in the conversation with Storm and Marvel. I agree. She should not be Storm. She should not ever be Storm. I'm sorry. And we just need some new, fresh people. Like, I'm so tired of the same people. Am Gorky said it's confusing to take in. Does Ariana even have many thoughts at all? She seems pretty monarch to me. She's very, like, self-centered, in my opinion. Carolyn Dante says, after her run on The Color Purple, she says she was also constantly asked to sing I'm Here, and after that she had the same reaction. So I think she just doesn't want to be pigeonholed. Well, that's fair. I think that's fair too. Maybe she just does not want to be pigeonholed, and I totally get that too. Sure, Sherry Mango says, I want a beautiful dark-skinned woman to play Storm. We definitely need some new fresh talent. And Cynthia's a beautiful woman, but I think we just need someone a little bit different. I don't know if she fits my idea of Storm. And I'm just tired of Storm always being older too. Like, I want like Storm to just be like young and like in love and like not the mammy or like the nurturer or caretaker. So I do kind of prefer her to be a little bit younger, more so in line like in the age with like the rest of her peers. And Cynthia, I don't know if she would like really fit into that. So now we need to move on to Byron Perkins. So if you all don't know who Byron Perkins is, I made like maybe 2 to 3 videos on him at this point. Let me make sure my screen is down. 1 second. Yeah, I made about 2 to 3 videos on him at this point. But the reason why we're kind of like giving an update is because of a situation that just kind of like recently went viral surrounding DC Pride. So I kind of want to draw y'all's attention to the Jumbotron, where it says, so this is a picture of Black Pride, and we have JD, the person that I've, made in my, who has also appeared in my videos, who posted this caption: DC Black Pride 2026, chosen family, good music, better people, lucky to be invited. Hashtag Pride, hashtag DC, hashtag Candy. Now, what y'all mean? What do y'all think about that little candy thing? I want to just reiterate to you all, like, this is like, here's the thing. I'm not even going to sit here and like age shame, because there's plenty of people of different age range that come to Pride, but I'm baffled as to why he's there. I'm baffled. Like, I'm like, why are you there? Like, and this is like a conversation that just like consistently keeps showing up throughout, like, I think our community. Is like, there's just this lack of gatekeeping. And I mean, to hear that he was also invited is like also just like, I mean, it's so challenging, because not only do you have these people who feel entitled to these spaces, but then you have the Black people who make them feel welcome to be there. And it's just like, I can assure you that, like, I'm not getting invited to like these Native American events or these Asian events or X, Y, and Z. And if I were invited and I showed up, you better believe that nobody would make me feel welcome, let alone defend me. But we can't even get any of that. Like, and I think that gets really funny, because like the little candy line is like so fascinating to me. It's like almost really dehumanizing. And I just don't think it's a coincidence that he said that. I think that he probably enjoys having proximity to Black people. And actually what we're going to do is, before I even kind of start reading him for Phil, I want to just read off some of the comments, just so you all can get a better understanding of like what the reception was to him. Now, just give me one moment. So the funny part is, I was being really messy, and I screenshotted, what was it? I did like a little video, just so I could have it for later. So, he puts in another caption saying, DC Pride is for and about the Black queer community, and I'm an honored guest celebrating with my chosen family. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Like, what? Like, I'm sorry, but like, what? Like, I honestly don't even have any real like way of reacting to this. Like, this is actually just beyond ridiculous to me. Like, I mean, so if you understand that it's for the Black queer community, why are you there? Like, you understand that we don't have spaces for ourselves, so we had to create our own, and you inserted your goofy ass into this space anyways. Like, what? You still, like, so you understand that, again, this is not about you. You somehow have still centered yourself as an honored guest. Like, what? And it's like, I mean, I can tell you, like, I can't even, like, I can't. It's just so ridiculous to me. Like, so fucking ridiculous to me. And so it was funny so I want to just like share with you all, some of the stuff that people are saying. They're leaving some shady comments. This one person by the name of Looking for Larry says, oh wait, can we have like one event to ourselves, like just one? And then this colonized Black man by the name of Cox 7776 says, get some therapy if one white person upsets you that much. And it's like, okay, like, let me just keep reading before I read him. Then this person says, all it takes is one white person, learn some history. This other person says, here comes the BBC Superman. Another person says, your misguided commentary is very telling. Snow queens are irritating with their caping for mediocre white men who don't give AF about you before midnight. So yeah, they were just kind of roasting him, really just kind of really going in. And it's like, it's just kind of funny that he would really sit here and recommend therapy. And it's like, you know, I just kind of try and reiterate to people, like, white gays were so discriminatory, like to the point where we literally could not be in their spaces without like some level of violence, some level of like discrimination, you know, something to some degree. And it's just like, you know, the fact that like you would sit here and say that someone needs therapy because the one space that we are supposed to be centered, he is not being invited to, is like, I mean, it's more or less just like, I don't know if it's just delusional, or just like committed to just like the coonery, but it's just baffling to me. Let me read some of the comments, because I'm sorry, I literally just like went on a rant, and yeah, I'm sorry. I need to make sure I don't miss any. Julian says Candy is wild. I'm telling you, it's very fetish-like, especially when you know, like, he has this like habit. So let me add some context in here for the people who don't know who JD is. So you know, like I said, I made about 2 to like 3 videos on him and Byron Perkins, and you know, let me just go ahead and get this pulled up because I want to share with you all. I want to share with you all this really quickly so you all can kind of understand the context a little bit better who don't like watch my videos. I'm sorry, 1 second, I should have had it ready. Okay, so here it is. We're going to input this image. Wait, y'all give me 1 second. I don't know what I'm doing. 1 sec. Forgive me. Because I just really want the girls to kind of like have a better understanding. All right, so here we go. So I made this video a few months ago called Performative Activist Edition, and it really centers JD. He is a 36, 37, I think, year old man who was in a relationship with somebody who you see on the screen, the younger boy who was like 21, 22. Now, I don't have full confirmation of when they started talking, but they say that he started dating when they were 21. I'm inclined to believe that they were probably talking when he was 20 or like 19 to some degree. But it's important to add the context in here that he has very, very like bizarre tendencies. Byron is somebody who was going to an HBCU, so the fact that he ended up with an old white man specifically is just, I mean, very perplexing in itself. So, you know, I just kind of want to reiterate to y'all, like, this is the kind of person he is. He gravitates a lot of black spaces, and like his kind of like MO is like getting with really conventionally attractive black men who have really low racial self-esteem. So when he comes online and says Candy and like says little things like that, or that he's like this honored guest, it really just kind of like speaks to, in my like opinion, like he just has like this very like predatory like, you know, thought process, and like I just think that he's really disgusting, and like the Candy thing does not surprise me. Julian says I do not want to even figure out what that meant. I agree. Shane says Candy like a Sour Patch Kid. Girl, I hope that's what he means. I hope he's talking about a Sour Patch Kid. The real Aaron Dondo says, you said you were going to show up yesterday. What do you mean show up yesterday? Yes, I was supposed to do the live stream yesterday, but let me tell you, my job just had me all over the place. You are late as well. The real Aaron Nardo. I literally have butchered that, so you may have to tell me how to pronounce that. You know, let me keep reading. DC Pride started with the Asian and ended with this white man. Isn't that crazy? Like, they were going to war over that Asian boy, and then now they're going to bat over like this old white man that nobody from his community wants. Let's see. He looks so smug in this photo. I'm going to throw up. You know, he was getting his life. Like, he was so excited. He probably got at least like 4 to 5 different people's numbers. Let's see. GC says he's there looking for Candy. Yup. He really is on the hunt. That's really just kind of what it's giving. Shane says honored guest. Either his ego is inflated or he doesn't know what that means. Yeah, I'm like, I guess because he thinks that like, you know, he has all these like colonized black men hyping him up, that like he is like, I guess, not welcome in these spaces. And like, I mean, it's so funny the amount of people who talked about seeing him there and were just like so like put off by it. Kyle Holloman says, I know his DMs were flooded out after this, saying I am available. I agree. I know that his inbox is filled to the top with some football players. Let me see. Let me keep reading. Chosen family coming from a white man that gives plantation to me. I agree. It's very much giving like plantation, like, because it's just like, why are you always in black spaces? And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but let's see. Placing the real Arredondo, the real Arredondo says placing honor upon himself is so narcissistic. I agree, and I think it just speaks to his inflated ego, and I just think like to like how much that he's like, you know, hyped up in these spaces, because it doesn't make sense for him to like be this confident unless somebody is like giving him, you know, the okay to feel this way. Let's see. Let me keep going. In the 80s, West, Hollywood was still racially segregated. White gay bars would not allow black men in. Exactly. Like, there's so much history behind why there's a black pride. And it's like the fact that he's like not even willing to educate himself and understand the importance of not being there really, again, just speaks to his level of entitlement and his lack of awareness around these subjects. Let's see. So many white gay bars do that now. I agree. It's like they definitely are still discriminating. Like, they may not necessarily like flat out tell you can't come in, but like they'll go out of their way to ignore you or to like you know, not serve you, or like, you know, just do like very, very exclusionary things to try and make you not feel welcome. Love and Lilac says white queer spaces are historically racist. The white gays date their twins stereotype didn't come from nowhere. I agree. GC says apparently JD was married to a black man before Byron left him. Yes, he was. He most definitely was married to a black man. I have tea on that. Let's see. Bro thought he was invited to the black cookout. Who's going to tell him he's not invited? Let black people have our own shit. I agree. Like, he should not be there. Let me see. Kyle Hallman says Byron was getting paid for his services. I genuinely hope that Byron was getting something out of that, because I'm like, if he genuinely was attracted to JD, and like was doing that just on his own accord, I mean, I feel very bad for him. I already feel bad for him now because he's just like so pitiful to me. But it's like if you're not getting anything out of that, I'm like, yeah, Jesus, fix it. Like, something is going on. Am Gorky says, yeah, he's a psychopath. I definitely think there's something like very wrong mentally with him. And the MD Terp says, I'd be very suspicious of JD. Why so immersed in black gay spaces? And does he advocate outside of social scene things? I don't believe so. I don't like, I've gone on his page, and like outside of him just like literally like, I mean, surrounding himself with nothing but black men, I'm not seeing him, you know, putting his money, his time, his resources to advocating towards black issues. I've never seen it. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I've just never personally seen it when I've gone on his page. Let's see. Did someone use bear mace at DC Pride? I actually think the boy that we're talking about at the end of this video got bear mace, now that you mentioned that. Let's see. And the MD Terp says any neighborhood is segregated. The Boys Town in Chicago, West Hollywood, San Francisco, New York. It's really funny because even like in Georgia, a lot of the like bars and establishments like are very segregated. Like, you don't really see a lot of white gays entering like a lot of like black spaces unless they're BBC chasers. And I find that very kind of telling, because it's not like a racially like you know, diverse scene, and I find that very fascinating. So let's just keep looking at some of these comments, and then I want to move on to what he ended up saying. So you all kind of get the point. Like, they're dragging him. He's just getting hate comment after hate comment. And I'm living for it. I love it. This person says right here, a true ally wouldn't go, and I agree. It's like, if you understand the importance of these spaces and you really respect why they were designed, you like, by virtue, you wouldn't be there in the first place. Let's see. Someone says, so as a 20-year DC resident, I have turned down invitations to Black Pride many times over the years, not because I wouldn't want to go and be an ally with my chosen family, but because I understand my presence may make others uncomfortable at an event by and for a community that has very few safe spaces. One that has and continues to endure outright blatant and systemic racism from people that look like me and you. Very well said. It's like, I just think that it should, that is like, the way that he should be thinking about it. But unfortunately, he either doesn't care or just really lacks the awareness to really understand. So let me go ahead and read off his response to all of the hate. Maybe not even the hate, like, I'll just say the criticism, because people really were just kind of, being honest, like, why are you there? So his response is really fascinating to me for a lot of different reasons. And I just kind of wanted to just bring it up to you all just to give you an update, because it kind of like serves as confirmation. Oops, wrong one. It kind of serves as confirmation that that everything we were kind of saying in regards to like their relationship and why he is there is accurate. So JD says, for anyone just showing up to this saga, here's a few facts. I had the audacity to date someone that many critics on the internet decided that I was unworthy of. Apparently, he was too young and attractive to have been genuinely interested in me. Yes, he was 21 when we met. We dated from when he was 22 to 24, with a 12-year age gap. It worked for us, and the love and relationship was real AF. For both of us. The internet also discovered that I had had a failed 6-year failed 6-year marriage in my past. For 4 years now, I've been dragged on the regular by invented false narratives about my platonic relationships and friendships and the people in my life. In response, I've become careful about who I post on my Instagram because I will not subject the people I love to this mess. It's unfair to them, and it feels unfair to me. This year alone, I have been through this social media hysteria 3 times over false narratives with friends, on vacation, and just in everyday outings. I am not complaining, I just chose a public life. And at some point in the past relationship, and every now and then, I continue to share it. Okay, I don't know why he worded it that way. I would not trade how I have showed up, who I am, or what I have gotten to experience. So more or less, he's not sorry. He hasn't learned anything. And, I don't think that he genuinely understands why people are upset. You're not being dragged because people think that you're unworthy. Like, the real point of contention was because when he came on, when the whole situation happened and people asked how old Byron was, none of them decided to say anything. They decided that, they thought it was appropriate to not share the age when they met. So for at least 2 to 3 years, there was a lot of speculation. He eventually ends up sharing his age in a birthday post, and then people knew how old he was, and he could no longer like bullshit that, he wasn't like, he couldn't bullshit the ages at that point, about the age gap. But it's just like, I think that he doesn't understand why people are really upset. And it's like, people are upset more so because of the level of predation that's happening here. Like, it's not because like someone thinks that he's unworthy. It's like, you do nothing but frequent Black spaces. You do nothing but, try to go after Black people. And it's like, it paints a very bizarre picture to a lot of people, when they see you in just nothing but Black spaces as to what's going on. It's not that anyone's hating on you. It's just like, you have all of the signs of like a racial fetishizer. Let me keep reading though. I need to be safe though. 1 second. I'm sorry, because I gotta... Alright, why are they doing that? Let me just keep reading. I have the, Lord, I'm sorry, my brain is like fried. I have the screenshots and the slides like out of order, so I apologize. He says, I want to start with a real apology for somehow ending up a part of the narrative this weekend. So this isn't an apology. Like, again, like let me just really read off this again and explain to you why you're getting dragged if you're watching this. So he says, I want to start with a real apology for somehow ending up a part of the narrative this weekend, when it's really all about centering Black queer love, joy, and community. I'm a white gay an ally, and it's never been my intention to be the center of the narrative. Here in this community with Black queer peers, I know and love. It has never been my intent. So again, that is not an apology. An apology is I apologize for coming to this event that it is not supposed to center me. And I, then maybe if you want to follow up and say, like, I hate the fact that this was, taken as a distraction, or this took away from the real importance of the Black community, then I could understand that. But that is not an apology. You don't apologize for being a part of a discourse. That makes no sense. So then he says, let me be vulnerable for a minute. I'm a gay white man whose romantic history and chosen family are predominantly Black. I have tried to navigate that and show up the best way I know how, and I welcome advice around where I have fallen short and can do better. That invitation is open and stays open. As an ally, I understand my role in space is active listening. That doesn't include my own dehumanization or any ask for me to change who I love. Let me keep going, because there's one or two more. There's one specific part, though. Okay, I'm sorry, because I want to make sure I don't, and nothing crazy pops up. Let me zoom in. It says, and this part matters too. I am white. That whiteness is historically and presently tied to white supremacy, whether I want it to be or not. And I know that it can land as harm before I open my mouth. I understand why being anti-white shows up as a coping mechanism in today's America. So first and foremost, I'm like, I don't think you understand, this is not a coping mechanism. Coping mechanism would indicate that there's some level of trauma. I am not traumatized. I'm telling you that this space is not meant for you, and you are deciding to impede yourself anyways. It's literally not, it's just clear cut. This space is not meant for you, and you decided to show up anyways. So the fact that you're trying to spin it into a coping mechanism, or that someone's being anti-white, no. I would have said this if you were Asian. I would have said this if you were Native American. I would have said this if you were any other race than Black. So the fact that you just are just not getting it, I mean, it's just, again, really just kind of ridiculous to me. He says, and I am not asking anyone to put that down for my comfort. That said, I'm incredibly grateful and blessed to be welcome into Black spaces and among Black community that embraces me back. I do not take this love lightly. Thank you to those whose my humanity beyond the shade of my skin. There's one more, and I'm I gotta make sure that I find it, because I refuse to not read this part. Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm sorry. Here we go. Now we're talking. Okay. So this is the part that I really want you all to understand. That just feels vindicating for me. So he says, if any of this lands and is of interest to you, I am welcome to open advice and dialogue around what romance, dating, and even just friendship should look like in a healing world with racial divides, particularly among white and Black people who genuinely experience connection, emotional safety, and love between one another. And does this divide win? Wait, this is not the one I want. I'm literally so upset. Y'all, give me 1 minute, because now I gotta find it. Because essentially what ends up happening is he makes this tweet about saying that he feels safest in the Black community. And I think that is a really, really telling point. Y'all hold for me 1 second, because I gotta find this tweet. 1 second. Because, y'all, I need this tweet now. Lord. Now I gotta go through all the way through my Twitter because I failed to have this tweet. Because it was this tweet essentially, or I don't know, it was like I think an Instagram post where he was talking about how he doesn't feel safe in his own community to some extent. And I was like, this is really just kind of like what I've been talking about all along, is that a lot of these people are not here because they want to, they're more so because they have to. And I think that him just kind of like verbalizing the fact that he does not feel safe in a lot of like predominantly white spaces really just kind of like highlights what I'm saying. You know what? I don't have the tweet and I apologize, but I think that is, and again, if maybe I misread it, I just want to apologize, but there was something that I remember seeing where he was talking about like feeling more comfortable. And it's like, I mean, I get it, but like, that's not like my, like, you shouldn't impede on my spaces because it makes you feel more comfortable. Like, it's like, you understand that the reason why you are being put on a pedestal is because you are white, but you understand that it comes at the expense of, me now being overlooked, or, the vibe or the energy being thrown off because you're there. So that's like the general consensus of it. I kind of want to just keep going through some of the other topics because we were at the hour mark and like I'm getting a little bit drowsy. So let me read off some of the comments real quick, and then I'm going to move on to the next topic. Give me 1 second though, because I need to turn the AC on. It is beyond hot and I am burning up. Okay, so we've got some ASMR. Okay, so all right, now we're good. So the next topic, let me read these comments real quick so then we can kind of like get to what we were talking about. Alrighty. So let's see. Amp Gorky says, so freaking unfair for him. He thinks he deserves an apology. Isn't that crazy? Like, he says, it's unfair to me. It's unfair for you to impede yourself on, like, HBCUs, Black Pride, like, predominantly Black spaces, and then get the backlash because you weren't supposed to be there in the first place. Like, it's just, like I said, the level of entitlement and delusion that comes out of a lot of these people is just, like, honestly so repulsive, and it's just so off-putting, and it just really just, again, reiterates why a lot of us don't want to be around them. So let's see. Shane says, imagine you had a white friend and this was their response to people having discomfort to their presence in a safe space. I mean, that's just honestly just like, that would be an immediate block in my opinion. Let's see. Shane says, this friend got to be Todrick Hall. It definitely is giving Todrick Hall vibes. And it's funny, before we actually move on to the next tweet, I want to read off, or I want to share this tweet that I thought was really, like, I'm not going to say funny, but it's, like, honestly just very disturbing. And it really, really just kind of, like, stood out to me, but I gotta find it. Y'all, give me 1 second. Because this is a really, really funny tweet. Someone basically was saying that they were going to bear mace. Okay, so... Okay, here it is. So it's actually funny because now I see why you were asking about the bear mace comment. Because this tweet went viral. I made this tweet about this boy that went viral, and now that I think about it, that's I think maybe why you may have been saying that. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how to get my screen up. Okay, here's my screen. So let me read off this. Oh, Lord. And then y'all, give me 1 second. I gotta be careful because this app is very, very dangerous. Okay, so this person's by the name of Julian Patrick R, who apparently watches some of my videos, says, when I invite my non-black gay friends to NYC parties, I wish one of you weird-ass activism punks would try to make them feel unwelcomed. Let me refill my bear mace. Like, do y'all understand how fucking ridiculous this is? So you invite a non-black person to Pride, then when someone tells you that they are not comfortable with them being there, your response is to now bring bear mace. Like, I'm telling you, I mean, it's just like so just ridiculous, the state of where our community is. And it's just like, I mean, these are the people who are inviting them to these spaces. Like, I mean, it's not just one thing, like I said, for these people to be racist or, you know, for them to just be colonized. Like, they now need to make this our problem. And it's just like, you know, it's ridiculous. And I just despise it. So I just realized there's a super chat. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the super chat. Amp, that is so sweet. You are so generous. And let me tell you, I'm going to have to do like a super chat kind of like box. So I can put you in there and like some of like the other like few people, because that is just literally so nice of you. You know, I always notice it and appreciate it. Like, so I really, really am so grateful that you would even do that for me, because it means a lot. So thank you again, hun. I'm literally so grateful for you. Let me read some of these comments. Let's see. Christopher says he's exhausting. He's exhausting himself. All of this is so wild to me. It is just like ridiculous. Kyle Hallman says he reminds me of the white guy who was part of me getting ghosted from my friend group. He was mediocre in appearance and mindset, but was able to spread a lie about me that got me put out. You know, let me tell you, they have so much pull in a lot of these friend groups. Like, they will literally they will go, fight to the death over a very, very average looking non-black person. Let's see, white people have surveilled us for centuries. If they can't tell what we're doing, they fear us even more because it means they lose control. Oh, you know what? You're going to have to get pinned to the top, girl, because no, that's some girl. Now that you just spoke a word, babes. You just spoke a word. You know, it's so funny. Shane says, ooh, Barbie, I forgot to tell you, he was in your tweet acting real demure, but I saw him in other people's tweets trying to squabble. Very different attitude and tone. I definitely noticed that. You know, the thing is, he says that he watches my video, so maybe he has an awareness, but I was just honestly so baffled as to like why he was so combative with everybody else. Like, it just didn't make sense to me, and I'm like, you know, I guess I just, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, and I think what confuses me is like, if he watches my content, like, why would you say something like this? Like, it's just so bizarre to me. And I did not understand it. But yeah, he was really, really cutting up. Like, he was getting really, really violent with people in the comment section, just being hateful. And I'm like, girl, like, what are we doing? Like, this is so excessive. But you know what? I was like, I dragged him from hell and back. That post I made about him had like 900 likes, and it was just getting more and more traction. So I'm like, you know what? Honestly, at this point, I don't even need to go back and forth with you because I already dragged you. Let's see. So before we keep going, can we just talk about how cute like my background is? Like, we've got this Wendy Williams in the corner. The chat just looks, oh my God, it just looks so magnificent, so clean. I'm literally so obsessed. Like, what do y'all think? No one said anything about it. I'm obsessed personally. I love the graffiti. I think the purple, the pink, it just looks so good. Definitely one of my favorites so far. Yeah, I really, really love that tweet about surveillance, though. I'm gonna probably keep that with me forever. And the MD Terp says, yep, that Heritage Foundation guy got a PhD in African American Studies. The worst part is Byron defended JD while promoting his flop music. It's so funny. You know, now we got to talk about Byron, because there's this tweet that went viral earlier yesterday of me and Byron kind of going back and forth. I wouldn't even necessarily viral, but like I say, it got like 20 or maybe 30,000 views. And like, I do kind of want to like explain a little bit about that interaction because a lot of people asked me about it. And like, I didn't really want to discuss it on Twitter because it's just like, I'm exhausted like dealing with that boy. But basically kind of what ended up happening was someone sent me a tweet about Byron, you know, posting on his Instagram story, arguing with people who were like, I guess, going off on him, you know, basically calling him a coon or like anti-black and stuff. And like, I saw him say something more or less in regards to like, you know, or someone left him a comment saying, don't let these people bully you, or I apologize if these people are bullying you. And which Byron was like, you know, what did he say? He was like, I'm the bully or something like that. And, you know, honestly, I had impulse control, you know, and I'm not going to lie to you. I threw a little bit of shade and I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was like, I'm happy that this isn't bothering you. And I was like, I think I said something to the extent of like, I like a challenge, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like I was just being shady. But after that, you know, I was like, I thought about it and I was like, why did I message this boy? Like, why did I do this? Like, ultimately, there's no need for me to really go back and forth with Byron because it's not really about Byron. It's more so about like, I think like what Byron and JD represent. I think that they are reflective of everything that is wrong in our community. They're, you know, reflective of double standards in relations to colorism, fat phobia, ageism, ableism, you know, all of these different structures really show up and are present in this specific conversation. And sometimes I just get really irritated with Byron and JD as like people, but ultimately, like I said, it's not necessarily about them, but like more so just like about like, you know, they are a manifestation of like, you know, everything that is wrong within our community. And so, you know, to give you a little bit of context, Byron ends up posting the messages that I was having with him. You know, and I got a little bit cutthroat, more or less like, I think I more or less said like, he asked me, you know, why do I do what I do? And I was like, you know, I just kind of more or less told him it's like nothing personal. He's like the donkey of the day to me or something like that. Like, you know, if you didn't see this tweet, you know, please just disregard it because it did go viral. But, you know, for me, I just kind of want to reiterate to people like, that's why I say that it's not about Byron. Like none of these videos that I make are really about the people that I talk about, but more so in relation to you know, just like the general like issue that may surround them. And like, you know, so it's not to say that I don't necessarily care about Byron as a person, but when we have these conversations, you know, and when we discuss them, it's more so just like as a springboard to like have dialogue about what's happening, not because I necessarily care about like that person as an individual or like they trigger me. So like, I just kind of wanted to just like add in a little bit of context. Him and I went back and forth. I don't want to divulge too much of what was said, but like more or less, like that was just the basis of the conversation. And I'm going to probably leave it there. So I want to move on to like our next two topics. And then I promise we're going to go ahead and close this out. We are at, what are we at? We are at an hour and 22 minutes. Let's see. So the next one that I kind of want to talk about is this situation about a group photo that went viral around DC Pride. And it just kind of like sparked a lot of conversation around like desirability politics, you know, who is most likely to be advocated for, you know, who's most likely to be centered. And, you know, I think I'm getting the photo pulled up now, but I think what I find really interesting about this is like when I was originally just looking at the photo, I didn't really think too much into it, but it's just really fascinating sometimes how certain situations or certain photos will turn into like certain discourses, even if that may not have necessarily been the intention. So let me go ahead and share with you all this photo. So I'm gonna do like a little zoom in on the photo so you all can kind of see I don't think I can zoom in fully. I'm sorry. It's not letting me zoom in. Why is it doing that? Let me try to save the photo and then upload it in the stream so y'all can see it better. Because so this photo, believe it or not, actually caused like a massive amount of like conversation. As you can kind of tell in the bottom right hand corner, it has around 2.3 million views. And a big part of like why it was like gaining traction is because it was kind of like became more or less like a, I guess, contest of like attraction. Like there was a lot of people like in the comment section basically like saying, you know, this person was attractive, this person was attractive. And more so in particular, they were hyper fixated on this boy in the, let's see, I'm trying to like zoom in better. I'm sorry. I know it's really ugly, but this is like the only way I can do it. The boy, all the way on the left in the denim jacket. And I'm gonna try and go through some of the comments really quickly so you all can get like an understanding of what I mean by this, because I'm sure you're like, how could this possibly have turned into a discourse? But it's like, I think that it just really highlights sometimes like how colorism, featureism, and like texturism really show up in a lot of these conversations without even a lot of people noticing it. So here's some of the comments. This first one, and it just was weird. There was so much fixation on skin tone, but it's like people will sit here and tell you to your face that like there isn't like a real issue in our community or surrounding this. So this first person says, didn't expect the cute light-skinned one to be at something like this. The other ones in the pic are expected, LOL, and come a dime a dozen. So that's just a weird comment in the first place. Like, why do you not expect him to be there? Like, and you know, why is that the first reaction? The second person says, light-skinned dude ate the whole pickup. Got about 216 likes. This person, let me make sure before I click on this, because you got to be careful on Twitter. One sec. Okay, so this person saying, y'all gagging a little too hard at the denim when blonde in the middle is taking it. And then it was funny because a little bit after, like you see in the comments, they're saying, you don't gotta lie like that, babes. And it's like, lie? What do you mean? Like, is it that like hard to believe that someone would find this person? Like, let me just go ahead and show you all who the person was again. Let's see. It's like, so in my opinion, I think the boy in the middle is cute, with the blonde hair. I think all of them are cute, really. But the argument is like that people are not visible, which I can understand to a degree. But there's three people who you can clearly see in this picture, and it's like, I think that the one in the middle is cute. I think the one on the right with the orange case is cute. So I'm like, what is the issue? Like, why are we like hyper fixating? And I think more so in particular, I want to reiterate that. Wait, let me see. 1 second. Sorry. What is this? Let me read some of the comments before I keep going. Someone said Byron defended his ex No Bunny, not surprised. The funny part is I think I found out that they followed each other again on Twitter. So like they still seem to have like a real connection. He doesn't think that there's anything wrong with it. And like I said, he was posting on his story, trying to antagonize a lot of people who had who had an opinion about their relationship. The MD Terp says, oh, I know what photo you're talking about. That definitely got the people talking. Let me tell you, it woke up the rat's nest. Like, when I tell y'all, the girls were like, they were cutting up over this photo. It was a hot mess. Someone says, what was the tweet about? I want to know the tea. Honestly, the tweet was just like someone posting a picture, and then it was like just a bunch of discourse. Someone MD Terp says, good Lord, colonization did its big one. And then, I'm going to just keep reading some of the comments because I think that people think I'm being dramatic. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. So this person says, I hate a bitch that always wants to be fake different. 158 likes on here. So it's like, someone says straight lying for brownie points online. So it's like the idea that this person cannot be attractive. Like she's literally like this person literally saying like blonde in the middle is taking it. Like, I mean, it's just like, this is what I'm saying. Like the level of colonization is real. And it just kind of like highlights how much Eurocentric beauty standards really have permeated a lot of people's minds. Like people can't fathom the idea that someone is attracted to someone who, does not have like Eurocentric features, or like lighter skinned or things of that nature. And it's just like, it's really pitiful to me. The way a lot of people just can't even they can't even they were genuinely offended that someone was saying something different. Let me just keep going. Like someone was saying he's not, but okay. Another person says, this is what happens when we lie. Let's see. So, they were pretty convinced that this person was not attractive. The only person that was attractive, or the most attractive person in that photo was, was that person. So now I just kind of want to share with you all a tweet that I made, that kind of oh, and then I muted myself. Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel. Okay, so now I'm kind of scared on how long I was muted. Oh my god. Okay, now I'm literally like trigger that I did that again. Let me read off this tweet that I said though, because I think the thing that I was saying while I was on mute was that I ended up making this tweet that gained a lot of traction. A lot of people were really upset about it, and I just kind of just like want to reiterate like why I can't take people seriously. So I said that as long as we live within the context of colorism, featureism, texturism, even things like ableism, fat phobia, it's valid to question anti-Black desire. It's not a coincidence that a large portion of the attention is leaning in one direction, and I think it's okay to acknowledge why. And, I just try to reiterate to people on my platform that I'm a really huge proponent of probability, and, I'm not going to sit here and say that being attracted to this person in the photo automatically means that you're colorist. I'm not saying that. I think that he is a very attractive man, but I think that when someone says that he is the most attractive, it starts leaving a lot of room for like ambiguity onto why you may think that, because it's like, again, attraction is subjective. So it's like, why do you think that he is the most attractive? Like, and I think, again, if you want to sit here and say that he's the most attractive to me, that's fine. That's your opinion. But once I think people start like trying to convince others, like there's something wrong with you, or like me when you're trying to be fake, or you're trying to lie, or you're just trying to be different, like that's when I'm starting to sit here and say like, okay, there's some real colonization at play, because it's like, why do you believe that somebody cannot be attracted to I mean, I'm sorry, like this boy is more than cute. I refuse to be convinced otherwise. He's pretty cute too, and she's pretty cute. She's a little on the shorter side. I'm a tall girl, but she's a cute girl. I'll say that. I think they're all cute. All three of them are really cute. So it's like the fact that people are sitting here saying like you're delusional for just even suggesting that is like really, really off-putting to me. And so, naturally the girls, they wanted to go back and forth with me in the comment section, and I just kind of want to read off to you all some tweets that I think just kind of stood out to me. So Let me see. Let me see. Okay. So this person left a comment in here saying, let's see, I'm trying to get it pulled up. They left a comment saying, he's visually more appealing, and that's okay too. Can't he just be handsome? OMG, y'all are exhausting. And then my response is, what's exhausting is how conquered and weak some of you all are. Can't even have a basic conversation about the possibility of colorism or texturism and featureism without people gaslighting the fuck out of everybody. And it's like, the fact that they're not even open to the possibility of this is just like why I know that they're lying. Because it's like, I mean, okay, it's one thing for you to say, like, you know, someone is a colorist, because I think that is like, you know, I think that's a huge like leap to say that. You know, maybe they just genuinely do believe that he is attractive, but to just literally shut down the possibility of it being present when, I mean, colorism, featureism, texturism is always present, is why I'm like, no, I don't agree at all. And that's why I'm like, y'all are lying, and it's like, I know you're conquered and I don't have time for it. Let me read off another one. Okay, so someone says, it's not the colorism, it's the masculinity, which is unfortunately the standout. I think you may have went deeper than what it is. Not to say that you are wrong, but compared to a masculinity conversation, the color is very minor and minute. So then I was like, so colorism is very minor and minute, and I had to play this Kamala Harris meme.
So there's some education that needs to be done. I can see that. Okay, so there's some education that needs to be done. I can see that. Okay, so there's some education that needs to be done. I can see that.
Because I'm just like, girl, I agree with you, Kamala. There's some education, because I'm like, colorism, I mean, color is never minute. It's always at the forefront of people's minds. Like, I refuse to accept that as an answer. Someone else says, because he is the finest and he's up front, it's as simple as that. Plus, he's chilling. And I was like, what are we talking about? Like, let's see. Let me read one or two more. There's this other tweet too. Oh yes, this is one tweet that I really, really wanted to discuss. So, and this is actually, you know, I'm sorry. I'm happy that I saw this tweet, because I was literally about to forget about it. And it just activated this entire, like, thing that in my mind that I wasn't even originally going to talk to you all about. So a few like days ago, I made this tweet, and I even like put it in my colors collection video, where I talked about finding out one of the boys that I was talking to or interested in was into race play. And this is the person that I was talking about. Now, this was several, like, I think it was like a year or two ago that I talked to this boy. We plan on meeting up. But to see him tweet something like this is actually kind of really ironic to me, because he ends up going viral a little bit later. Oh, I think I'm blocked by this person. Wait a minute. Hold up. Am I blocked? The author has you blocked. Okay, so good. I'm blocked. So now we're gonna unpack that one. So, so he says he's too pretty to be there. I'm not gonna lie. And then, so I think the reason why I wanted to bring this up is, like, that word pretty is really funny, because it's a dog whistle that a lot of colorists like to use to indicate, like, their affinity for non-black people. One of my good Judies by the name of True Speaker 06, and I'm gonna have to find her real quick, because this was so vindicating to me, and it makes sense as to why he said that this person was too pretty, because he has a history of, like, making really colorist tweets, and it's like really funny, because I remember that, you know, when him and I were talking, like, I always felt like, basically, like, almost more or less like that I was like a side option, or more or less. And it's just like, it's really funny, because when you see these people's tweets and you get to see the things that they're saying when you were talking to them, it makes sense as to why, you know, a lot of them are just like, showcasing very little interest in like meeting or like showcasing any effort, because a lot of them just really have an affinity for non-Black people. And that was just something that that really just kind of like felt very vindicating for me. Okay, here it is. So I just want to go ahead and show you all what he says. So his tweets say, "Hot Latino daddy destroyed by black cock." Oh, I shouldn't have said that word. Oh Lord, why would I say that? Then let's see. Virgo says, "I need a Latino man. Latino boys got the best booty." Let me go to the next one. His next tweet says, "What would have to be on the other side for you to cross this?" He said, "A 5'6" tone Latino power bottom." So this is really kind of more so what I'm saying is like, I gotta find that tweet, like, because I said it earlier and a lot of people like really were like confused as to what I was talking about, and I wanted to add in context, for the people who just, do follow me. But I did make this tweet, and I really kind of just want to like read it off to a lot of people again, because again, it was just so vindicating to me. Like, he was making these tweets while we were talking, and I'm like, this is like very disturbing to me, but it's also very vindicating at the same time. So, this tweet says, "Finding out men that I used to talk to who made my life difficult end up being into race play is unusually liberating. I convinced myself I was the problem, when in reality it had nothing to do with me." Then I had this little tweet.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, it just really just like described exactly what I was feeling in that moment. Like, it was just like an epiphany. And then I ended up saying, "Free yourself from the guilt, the shame, the anxiety. A lot of them just hate themselves. It's not a reflection of you as a person as to why it didn't work out." And so yeah, it's just like, it's just funny when you see like those comments, like when you see him saying pretty, and then you also see him having a history of colorist tweets, because it's like all these things are connected, and like they'll try to gaslight you into thinking that there's not a psychology behind this, but there is. And it's like, it's not a coincidence that every single time you see them making like really weird comments like that it pops up in these conversations. So let me just read some of the comments. So we got some comments to read off. Let me get some water, child, because Lord, I'm parched. I can't believe this is almost a 2-hour live stream, like, but I haven't streamed in so long, and like, I don't know when the next time I'm gonna stream again. So like, I really, really just kind of wanted to talk about it. One thing, I didn't even realize this, but y'all responded about my backgrounds. Am Gorky says, "I love the background. I love the graffiti and the font." Julian says, "Very spiffy background." I was going to compliment the background, but I didn't want to derail the topic. Carolyn says, "Your whole channel's aesthetics made me subscribe." Aw, thank you. Those are really, really nice. Like, I really, really am like obsessed with this like specific one. I think it's one of my best that I've done. It just looks so clean and simple. Shane the Pain says, "When he was in your tweet, let's see, people..." Oh, sorry. I think I already read that. Sorry. Let me keep going. Let me read some of the ones. Shane says, "They're all very gorgeous. So what are we talking about?" And I think just from a general standpoint, there's something just really distasteful about seeing a group of people and then trying to like make it into a competition of who looks the best, especially like when we do understand like colorism, featureism, texturism, fat phobia, all of that exists. Like, it makes people feel like there's something wrong with them, and especially even the people in the photo. Like, I can only imagine like what their reaction may have been. And again, it's not to say like you can't say that people are attractive, but I just think when we're sitting here like, I mean, actively going out of our way to tell people that they're crazy for, saying that like you know, they find somebody who's not, you know, like Eurocentric attractive. Like, it's just very, very like distasteful to me, and I didn't like it. Kyle, wait, sorry. It's a happy moment that shouldn't be dissected like this, shaking my head. Honestly, like I said, I really was going to move on from it originally, but I mean, when I just saw them going in, I'm like, wow, this is like really turned into a discourse. Quadratic Quation says, you really never know who you think is cute until you get to know them. You know, I agree. That's definitely a great point too. There's some guys that I never thought I would be attracted to that I have been interested in after talking to them. Let's see. Kyle Hallman says, all the men are gorgeous. It's sad that we continually do this when it comes to skin color and featureism. I agree. Julian says, yeah, they're all having a good time, but people need to be mean for no reason. Yeah, I agree. I'm probably way older than most of the people in here, 48, and I'm so glad social media wasn't much of a thing in my younger days. I agree with you. I'm 30, so, you know, you're a little bit older than I am. Well, I'm not 30. I'm about to be 30. I turned 30 in like 2-3 months, I should say that. But I'm about to turn 30. I'm 29 now. But yeah, I agree with you. Even it's funny because when I was growing up, like, we had MySpace, but like, it wasn't as like invasive or like, it wasn't to the degree that it was now. Like, I think that social media is so violent, and it's just like, it really plays on a lot of like people's like self-esteem in ways that I just don't think that it was present before. Of course, like colorism and things like that were always present, but I think that was on like a much more like, it wasn't as like in your face. I think it was more so like a lot more subtle. Like, instead of like, okay, for example, the love interest always being like a lighter skinned person, or maybe like, you know, the video vixen being like a lighter skinned person, you know, like things like that were kind of more so like how it kind of showed up, not necessarily like through social media. I thought I muted myself again, and I was like, oh my God, please don't tell me I muted myself. Let's see. Let me read some more comments. I don't know if I read this. No, I think I did read this, where they said pretty boy has always been used for light-skinned boys, biracials, people with certain hair textures and facial features. If I didn't read that, I definitely agree with you. That is like a dog whistle for that. So like anytime I see that, I'm like, okay, I know what's happening. Let's see. The original Taurus says, interesting string of words. I'm telling you, that was a hot mess. So let's see. So yeah, that was just kind of the general consensus about like my opinion surrounding it. I think that it's really funny, even not just the boy that I was talking to that I was saying that was into race play. I was going through the majority of their profiles, and like every single person who had an issue with it like really had an affinity for non-black people. Like, you would always see like, you know, 8, 9, 10 different like retweets of like interracial content. So it's like when they come online and try to gaslight the issue, it really just kind of like highlights like even more how important it is to talk about it. Because like I said it a million times, like if they didn't really like care, or they didn't really find it relevant, they wouldn't be going this hard to try and push back. And again, it just really just is a reflection of like, I think how Eurocentric beauty standards really kind of show up in a lot of these conversations. One of my Twitter mutuals, who made this tweet, and this is kind of going to like go into one of my other topics that we're going to talk about, but it says, call me bitter or angry or a loser, but all the pics of large friend groups at DC Pride either have, let me start over. All of these pics of large friend groups at DC Pride or other Pride celebrations never have any fat people and never have more than 1 to 10 dark-skinned people. And I think that like it's funny because even though we weren't talking about it from like from a friendship standpoint, like that is also very prevalent in people's minds, even when it comes to like who they are going to befriend. Like you can tell, like I don't think I saw a single fat person in that photo. Obviously I didn't get to see all of them, but like I think that they make a really great point is like these things are always like present in a lot of people's minds. And it is like the idea that colorism and featureism and texturism can be removed from these conversations is just like simply unrealistic. So that part just kind of like stood out to me. I remember I saw this, someone posted another photo of him, and I'm trying to find it, but Lord, I can't. Give me 1 second. Because they did it again where they're like, there was another photo of him with other people, and they were still saying that he looked the best. And I was like, this is just weird at this point. Like, can't y'all just enjoy the photo for what it is? But, you know, these people always have to make things weird, so I am not surprised. You know, I cannot find the other photo that he was in. So I apologize, but I think I'm going to have to skip that. I think we got just about everything out in terms of that. Give me 1 second. I just want to double check something, because I'm really trying to find this tweet on him. Okay, so I cannot find this tweet. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to move on to the next topic. The final topic is going to center more so friendships and like, so what I want to do, let me get this pulled up for you all really quickly. One of my favorite pages by the name of AM Supreme Tings posted this video about a boy who essentially was saying that one of his friends got kicked out of one of like the pride events, or not necessarily a pride event, but a party that they were attending because they didn't fit the aesthetic that they were looking for. And it just kind of like, just again, like goes further into the conversation around desirability politics that we were talking about. I'm trying to pull the tweet up, but Lord almighty, my brain is all over the place. Give me 1 minute. Child, give me 1 minute. We're going to talk about this. Okay, so hold for me 1 second. Oh yeah, the elite gays discourse. So you already kind of know what we're talking about. I gotta be careful and not show my screen, because let me tell you, that is the quickest way to get banned on here.
Here, not a story time.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you all kind of listen to it, and then there's another video that he kind of plays, and then we'll kind of just like unpack it, and then I'm probably gonna get off here. So here's the video, and here's his explanation of what happened. I may have to, you know, we'll keep the speed at normal, but I would love to speed this up.
Real quick. Y'all let me know if y'all want to hear. Not a story time. Actually, it is a story time. I just left this like kickback, whatever, pregame, whatever the fuck you want to call this, y'all. And it was the most weirdest shit fucking going on. So I don't know if I really want to bring this to y'all attention, but like I feel like I should, because I just think bitches are so fucking weird and too fucking old to be acting the way that they do. But y'all let me know, like, if y'all want to know what the fuck happened here and why I kicked out of anything. Bitch, you literally kicked a bitch out by the way he looked. That is a problem. That's what's wrong with you bitches right now. Like, bitch, you're the same jailbird that was literally fucking on my college best friend and then accused him of stealing money. Like, bitch, you're a weird bitch, but I'm not gonna clock your tea right now because, bitch, that's not the point. But, bitch, you's a weird bitch, and don't ever motherfucking address me in a motherfucking group setting and think I'm not gonna respond, and then you want to delete my message after I read your.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had myself muted. Were y'all able to hear any of that? Because let me just start over. I think I had it muted, and
real quick,
y'all weren't able to see the video.
Not a story time. Actually, it is a story time. I just left this like kickback, whatever, pregame, whatever the fuck you want to call this, y'all, and it was the most weirdest shit fucking going on. So I don't know if I really want to bring this to y'all attention, but like I feel like I should, because I just think bitches are so fucking weird and too fucking old to be acting the way that they do. But y'all let me know, like, if y'all want to know what the fuck happened here and why I kicked out of anything. Bitch, you literally kicked a bitch out by the way he looked. That is a problem. That's what's wrong with you bitches right now. Like, bitch, you're the same jailbird that was literally fucking on my college best friend and then accused him of stealing money. Like, bitch, you're a weird bitch, but I'm not gonna clock your tea right now because, bitch, that's not the point. But, bitch, you was a weird bitch, and don't ever motherfucking address me in a motherfucking group setting and think I'm not gonna respond, and then you wanna delete my message after I read your ass, because, bitch, you was a weird bitch. And my issue about it all, y'all, is literally just the simple fact of, like, on your shit. You try to have a pretty bitch elitist party, and then you try to kick a bitch out, and you try to charge a bitch $40 that was not as pretty as the other folks to get into your party. Mind you, like, no shade, that's not my friend who you kicked out, but, like, no shade, it was some uglier bitches in there. So I don't get why the fuck you made shade. It was some uglier bitches in there. So I don't get why the fuck, but, like, no shade, it was some uglier bitches in there. So
I had to just play that a few times because I'm like, this is perplexing to me that he would actually just say that while supposedly defending his friend. You know, I one thing that I want y'all to pick up on is that pretty word, because there's a reason why I had the entire segment prior to what we were just talking about, because it is very important and relevant to what is going to be said very shortly, because he ends up following up more or less like confirming everything that we were thinking, that there was like a lot of colorism at play. But it's really interesting, like when you hear that word pretty, like, you know, they use very coded language to try and discriminate against other people, and I just think it's just really interesting how a lot of these things just kind of like end up playing out. And that's why I say, like, there's psychology behind all of this. It's not a coincidence that, you know, people are making a connection to the word pretty and colorism, because it's like every single time that you see someone being called pretty, or there's like some kind of like event where, you know, people need to be like invited or etc., it's always someone of like a very certain skin tone. And it's like, it's just, these ideas cannot just be like removed from like what's actually happening. So after he ends up kind of going viral, he does a follow-up video just kind of like really elaborating as to what ended up happening. And I want to share with you all what he said. Now, this one's a little bit longer, so I apologize. I'm going to try and speed it up. But I think it's just very important because I think that this coded language is so important to be able to pick up on. So you just understand like when colorism is happening and when it's not. I mean, it's always happening, but like when it's a lot more overt, I should say.
Okay, y'all, I'm trying to make this very short and sweet, but the story is just so fucking long that it's...
Let me try and turn the volume up. Wait, why isn't it louder? Okay, let me...
Very dragged out, y'all, okay? So put it in times 2 if need be, okay? So, y'all, a couple days leading up to this party, I was personally invited to this party by Jeremiah, okay? Me and Jeremiah, we go way back. We went to Howard University together. So that's how I know him, and that's how I was invited, okay? He said, hey, bring a +1, +2. I said, cool, dandy. I invited Maddie and Mari, okay? Mari had 3 friends of his own in town, and he was like, cool, let me invite them, okay? So he invited KT, Jamal, and Krishan. KT was instantly approved, okay? Jamal was not. Jamal did not have a profile picture on his party fool. Daiwan reached out to Jamal and said, hey, something in regards to like, hey, who are you? Who invited you? And then can you link your Instagram to the party fool? Why the fuck you need somebody Instagram for a party fool? Like, what? Okay.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, people want to try and convince you that colorism, featureism, texturism, things like that aren't at play. But and this is not like just something exclusive to like, you know, gay black spaces, but it's more so just generally like across the board. Like people place a very a very high importance on physical appearance and like and desirability and conventional like attractiveness, and it's like it can even more so just determine whether or not you can even get into a party. So it's like I just want people to understand, like when they try to be like, well, it's not that serious or it's not that deep, like, well, yeah, it actually is. Like, I mean, it's on a psychological level, it's like everywhere you go, like whether it's employment, whether it's just like a party, whether it's dating, like these aspects are always present. So let me just keep going. And then I guess the guy Krishan, I don't know what his party food looked like. I don't know if he had a photo on there, if his Instagram was linked. I don't know what it was, but I know he did not get approved. Okay, Mari reached out to Daiwan and was like, "Hey, my friend did not get approved. Are you able to like get him in? Like, is he able to come?" He said, "Hey, unfortunately, we are at capacity. He would have to pay $40."
Mind you, y'all, when I first RSVP for this party, y'all, it was 120 spots, y'all. Then as over time and more people started RSVPing, y'all, it went from 120, then it went to 150, then it went to 170, y'all. Okay? So boom. We all show up to the party, Krishan included, because we're just like, I don't think this man is that bold or anybody's that bold enough to kick someone out of the party. But then also I knew majority of that party anyway. So I'm asking them like, hey, are they like checking tickets or RSVPs? Like, are they actually checking names to see if we're on the list or not? And they're like, no, everybody just walked in. I said, okay, cool. So we pull up with Krishan, y'all. I get in, I see all of my mutuals. Then I see 3 mutuals that I'm very cool with. I say to them, oh, hey, y'all, what's up? Like, that pretty much lets me know that they were not invited. They did not RSVP, and they still showed up and they got in. But clock this, all 3 of them was light-skinned and pretty.
And there it is.
So I'm like, oh, this is a little strange.
Let me just do that one more time.
But clock this, they were not invited. They did not RSVP, and they still showed up and they got in. But clock this, all 3 of them was light-skinned and pretty. So I'm like, oh, this is a little strange, okay? But I'm paying it no mind because I'm like, Krishan in, it's good, it's nothing, okay? So about 30 minutes go by, y'all. I see that there's a reserve. I didn't see it. Somebody told me that there's a reserve sign on like this couch or whatever. So I'm like, who the fuck puts a reserve sign on the couch, y'all? He was not allowed, no, they was not allowing nobody to sit on the couch, y'all. A couple minutes go by, y'all. He comes in ushering Bobby Lights to the couch and brought him out a bottle and everything. I'm like, damn, bitch, you did it. Like, it's a fucking basement party in a fucking lobby. Like, what are we doing here?
Okay, and I just gotta just really reiterate, like, they have Bobby Lights there. Like, if that is the standard, like, I mean, that's just pitiful. And I think, again, it really speaks to how colorism, featureism, texturism can get you into spaces even when you are like as busted as Bobby Lights, or even like or yeah, I think this Bobby Lights, I'm sorry, like, I'm not trying to throw shade, or maybe I am, but she just, every single time I see her, she looks coked out, she looks scary. Like, let me try to get a photo of her real quick, because I'm just like, I don't understand it. Bobby Lights, like, just always, just, I don't know, like, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that she's, like, ugly, but especially more so with, like, the way she's been looking recently, like, she looks very, very botched. Let me just get this photo up real quick, because I'm like, life is hitting, oh my god, this tweet is ugly. Okay, let me show y'all this tweet. This tweet says, life hitting Bobby Lights pretty hard. He's only 31. Like, no tea, no shade. Like, if Bobby Lights were a dark-skinned person, like, they would not get their fucking foot in the door. Ever. Like, ever. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. Like, and it's kind of interesting just how much exposure they have, you know, despite honestly just looking like so cracked out all the time. And it's just like, they also have a lot of Botox too that just makes them look really clownish. So I'm like, the fact that Bobby Lights of all people is like able to like secure, you know, like a sector and not be removed, and maybe it's because they're Bobby Lights, and you know, maybe it could be more so like in relation to just like star power. But like, I'm sorry, like, if you're gonna have Bobby Lights in here, you should I just really cannot understand why you would be kicking people out. She just looks weird to me all the time now. Like, more so, like I said, recently. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say she was, like, always looking horrible. But, like, now more than ever, I'm like, girl, what is tea? Like, it's just scary. So let me just keep going with the video. I'm sorry.
Like, it's not that deep. This is not LA with exclusive bitches. It's just not that. And that's just no shade. But hey, y'all, you let bitches do what they do. After Bobby Lights comes in and sits down, the boy Daiwan literally looks around the whole entire room, y'all. Looks every which way, looks at everybody, y'all. Then goes over to Krishan and says, you're not on my list. Krishan says, okay, what does that mean? And then Daiwan said, that means that you need to get out. He said, okay. Mind you, we had already prepped Krishan if he was to get kicked out. We already prepped him for this, okay? So then where I got lost at was Krishan finished taking his shot, and he literally asked Mark, okay, what we about to do? He's literally about to go. Daiwan says, this is not the time for you to be taking your fucking time. You need to get the fuck out. Let's go. So I'm actually shocked and flabbergasted that this man really just fucking asked somebody to leave when there's a bunch of other bitches in this party who was not invited, okay? I just don't get that at all. And then I got secondhand embarrassment and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta fucking go too because this is just so fucking weird. And then, you know, like you all come together, y'all leave together. So boom. So then as far as, that was the situation. Then as far as Daiwan, sir, you going in a party fool trying to address me saying something about this cash boy, Daiwan, you know exactly who I am because once again, you was fucking on my college best friend while we were in college and you was this grown ass man. Yes, you was fucking on my ex best friend, okay?
Okay, I don't know
And
how
then,
much
like,
more.
Daiwan, you literally
let's
sat
hope
in
we
my
got like
chair
one more
in
minute,
2024
okay?
for a haircut. Tip me and everything. And think I'm lying, I'm fucking dying, y'all. Don't ever get in no group chat, act like you don't know who I am and try to come to the stage with the DJ. You saw me loud and clear. You said and did nothing, okay? And anything.
Okay,
and
I think
honestly,
we got
no
just about
shade,
everything
I'm
we
not
need
about
from
to
her.
argue and fight with somebody that's 20 years my senior and also a convicted felon, and I just can't go back and forth with you, okay? I just really can't. Like, I think we're in two different lanes, and I think it's best that we stay there. I love my life. I love everything that I have going on, and I cannot argue and fight with someone who ain't afraid to go back in due time.
So that's kind of the gist of like everything that kind of happened. And I kind of wanted to play it almost in its entirety so you all can kind of understand just like how shallow a lot of these dynamics are and like what these social circles look like. But it's like somehow people are like now willing to try and convince you that there isn't like a problem. And it's like, even like I said, in the context of, you know, them saying that that boy was the most attractive, like, and the pretty comments, more so in particular, the pretty comments, it just really is just really interesting to see, you know, how all of this is just kind of played out. Like DC Pride has centered so many non-black or like lighter skinned people, like, and you know, maybe here's the thing, I'm gonna take that back. Let me take that back. There's a lot of viral moments and hopefully the girls at DC Pride really enjoyed themselves. Like I hope that the drama didn't really like deter people from like wanting to have fun. And you know, I highly doubt that it did. Like I hope the girls really just enjoyed themselves, but I think that there's just been so many situations that have gone viral that have just been really like confirmations that colorism, fat phobia, you know, all these things are like really plaguing our community. And like, I just think that, you know, it's just another really great opportunity to analyze these situations. And it's never a coincidence when like you hear people saying these words like pretty or, you know, like things like ugly or things like that, because it's always connected to these things typically. So, yeah, that's kind of just like, I think more so where I'm at with it. We've hit the 2-hour mark. So I'm getting close to closing this out. I want to read out a few more comments and then I'm going to let you all go. Let's see. Yeah, Am Gorky said, yeah, they shouldn't even want to go there at that point. For me personally, like, I would have been turned off from the very beginning. Like, to say that someone wasn't approved to go to the party based off of, like, their profile or what they saw, like, that was already a sign that something was, like, wrong. And it's, like, the fact that they're, like, having to prep their friend to even like go there or like get kicked out. I'm like, why would you want your friend to go to a space like that? And, you know, I again, I guess maybe he was just in shock that someone would actually kick someone out. But like, people are notorious for doing things like this, more so in particular to like, you know, plus size and darker skinned people. Like this, you know, we have not progressed very much as a society. Like all of these structures are like very much still like, you know, plaguing like our day-to-day lives and informing our decisions. So, you know, as to why he thought it was a smart idea, I don't know, but, you know, I guess I can't be too upset maybe. But, you know, I think in general, it's a really interesting situation to analyze. And, again, I just don't think that it's a coincidence that a lot of these people, who end up getting into these parties are of a certain skin tone. And so, yeah, that's kind of like my general opinion about it all. Let me see what you all have to say, and then I'm going to probably close it out. Someone's saying he's 42. Why did it say he's 25? You know, honestly, I am confused by that. Let me see. I don't know why it's saying that he's, because, you know, he did mention that he was, you know, much older than him, like 20 years his senior. So apparently he is around 42. So, you know, and I think that's just another added layer to it too. It's like, even when it comes to like a lot of older Black men, there's like an age requirement, like an ageism still plays a large part in it to it, which is why I think the Byron Perkins situation is like just so absolutely fucking ridiculous, because it's just like, you know, JD really just kind of like transcends everything that like we would immediately be chastised for. Like, he's, you know, a plus size person, he's older, you know, he's really not conventionally attractive, but because he's white, like, he's able to, like, you know, transcend a lot of these like barriers that he normally would not be able to. And it's just like, you know, this guy is sitting here only, from what I'm understanding, only inviting like people who are like what, you know, 25, 26. And it's like, why are you wanting to hang out with these people? But again, it just speaks to just like how a lot of exclusionary a lot of these spaces are, and you know, just how it shows up, and just even like basic things like TV shows or who's being invited to something as basic as a party. GC says, yeah, prepping your friends to potentially getting kicked out is ridiculous. Yeah, I wouldn't even have went, honestly. If it was at that point, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Let's see, that's why going out isn't fun anymore. All these dang rules and about how you have to look. I agree. I think it's very, very shallow. You know, it's not good for anybody's self-esteem anymore. People don't even like want to talk to each other. They have horrible social skills. Like, they're all just, you know, it's really just, in my opinion, I don't have the energy to go out a lot of these days. Not because I can't, you know, find anybody, but I'm just like, it's just too shallow and it's too gutter for me. I don't like it. Shane says, it sounds wrong to us, but people like being chosen. They like exclusivity because it makes them feel special. That's why they do it. I definitely agree. You know, I think that it's definitely feeds their inflated egos to be able to get into these parties and, you know, be seen as better than a lot of people based off of like their looks, you know. So I get it. You know, if I didn't really have anything else going for myself, maybe I would do that too. I don't know, but, you know, I think most of these people really just like base their entire value on what they look like. And so I definitely agree. It doesn't surprise me that that's their mindset. Let's see. Amp Gorky says, I went to Club Toilet this weekend. It is a good party. Oh, well, I'm happy that you had fun. The real Arenado says, I think 25 must have when he got arrested. I agree. I think that's what they meant. Well, you know what? All right, we're at the 2-hour mark. I'm worn out. I'm exhausted. I'm shocked that I even lasted this long. But I really wanted to come on here because, like, it's just been so long since I've like been able to like chit chat with you all, and I'm trying to get better about it. But I think I may have to take a break. Like, my body cannot keep up. I mean, it was like such a hassle to even get on here today, but I really am grateful to have been able to have gotten on here because I think we had some really, really good topics. And it was just really fun to just kind of like break down and give you all some updates and just like hear what you all thought. So, you know, I really appreciate you all for being here. And if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will be happy to